What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at some Star Wars Black Series The Mandalorian figures. So first we have two Mandalorian characters with the Mandalorian Privateer and the Mandalorian Night Owl. So both look pretty cool. So of course we've pretty much had these figures before, just all in different colors. No named characters to this, so we get faceless characters just to sort of build up an army there, but with a Privateer and then the Night Owl. Then we also have R46DO, which we saw serving Grief Karga on Navarro. So just nice to have an R4 body with the more cone-shaped head with that newer droid body. So that looks pretty cool. And then we also have this droid pack where we got multiple different droids. So we have R4D5 as well as BD72, so a little BD droid, and two pit droids. So of course all of these worked for Pelimoto in her hangar bay and Mos Eisley. So pretty cool get this as well. Of course we've seen most of these figures before, so nothing really new or out of the ordinary, just the different designs. Especially, you know, we've had R5 before, but the others we've not had these versions specifically, but just a cool little droid pack to throw in here as well. So we have all these Mandalorian based characters to look at today, so let me go and get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. And let's start off with the Mandalorian Privateer, and after Bo-Katan failed to get the Darksaber, her forces left to become privateers under the leadership of Axe Woves, which privateers are legitimized pirates that work for hire. So of course we've had this figure pretty much before, just the different colors and designs. I'll show you some comparisons, especially like to Axe Woves. So we're not seeing anything really new here besides the design, but he does have the all blue collars that match with the rest of the group, you know, that followed Bo-Katan with all the blue, of course like most Mandalorians, but just looks good overall, and just another character just to add to the ranks of the Mandalorians we have. So like I said, a lot of blue. So he's got blue on his helmet, of course silver around the T-visor, but blue up top with a white stripe that goes all the way around. We get the rangefinder there on the side, of course, that can fold down, and the head just overall looks nice with it being mostly blue. Then we go to the armor. So he's got the body glove that's kind of like a dark gray color with the blue Beskar armor on over the top, and you can see it's been painted but has some scratch and dings in it. So that's going all the way down on his chest, shoulders. He has the Van braces on his forearms with the gloves on, and then that body glove continues down the legs as well with the Beskar armor on the front of the thighs, knee pads that shoot out the little missiles, and then the armor on the front of his shins as well, and his boots, so nice brown boots there as well. And he has a belt with a thigh holster coming over to the side there to hold his weapons. So like I said, like most other Mandalorians, looks exactly the same, just the different coloring of blue, you know, different little designs they throw in with each one makes it a little different. But for movements, the head will twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so decent movements there. Shoulders can come up to 90, the shoulder pad gets out of the way, so up to 90 with the butterfly joint back and forth, and then it'll rotate all the way around. Then we get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with the rotation in it, and there's the rotation at the top of the van brace as well, so you can get that adjusted to different positions. The wrist will twist around and hinge up and down for this hand. Then we get the ab crunch, so just under the arm here, some more like a lower crunch, but it can crunch back and forth there and twist around a little, not all the way. It's got the issue where it's fighting, so you can't twist it around all the way, just a little bit back and forth. But the hips will come up to 90 and out to the side, get a thigh twist around in there, the single knee joint that bends back to 90 with the rotation in it, and then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and twist side to side. So the exact same movements we've seen on all the other Mandalorian characters as well. And to match with all the others, we do get his jetpack. So he has the Z6 jetpack. So looks pretty nice, mostly in gray, a little bit darker color. I can't tell if that's a really dark blue or a dark gray. Not really sure, but it has the little missile up top that, of course, can come out if you want it to. And then the little exhaust ports that do have some rotation in it. But let's go and plug this into his back. So there, he's got the jetpack on now. And finally, he comes with the Westar 35 blaster, so the standard Mandalorian blaster, which of course we can put into the thigh holster or we can put it into his hand. So there's the Privateer all kitted out now. And as I said, we do have other Mandalorians that we can look at comparison-wise. So here is Axe Woves. Of course, has a lot less blue on him, but just the figure we got already. And then here's the other guy. I think it was the pilot or whatever he was called. So, of course, both of those have helmets that come off and show their faces, but this one has a molded helmet, so you can't take it off or see anything underneath. So it's just a helmet stuck on there, since it's just a generic character, not a specific person. So we don't really need to see the head difference, but obviously with the armor and stuff, you can see the comparisons and connections between the two different designs. So it's cool to add the Privateer to our collection and build out more of that Mandalorian army. And next up, we have the Mandalorian Night Owls, which are a elite group of Mandalorian warriors led by Bo-Katan Kryze, largely made up of females. And again, another Mandalorian to add to our armory. So we get another female Mandalorian, and it has very similar designs we've had with Bo-Katan and the other female I can't think of the name of. So it looks pretty good overall. Has, like I said, very similar armor to the other two, pretty much just reused design. So she has all blue, but in a darker blue color, especially compared to the other two, which is nice. Has some silver around the T-visor as well, a little bit different design with some of the logos is there for the Night Owl, so especially the little owl design armor on the shoulder pads and a little bit of design there on the head. Has the rangefinder as well that can come down, and then we get the Beskar armor on the female body, so on the chest plate with blue on the side and darker gray in there. Has a really dark gray, almost dark blue body glove, so from head to toe. Has the belt around the waist there and brown with the holster coming out to the side. Van braces on the forearms, and then armor continue on the side of the legs, so on each side it has some armor there. The knee pads that shoot missiles, and then armor on the front of the boots as well with the brown boots. So it looks pretty similar. They all have very similar designs. It switches from between the male and female. Of course, the females have the smaller bodies, but overall still looks good and like all the others. But for movements, the head can twist all the way around. She can look down that far and up that far, so in decent movements, shoulders can come up that far. Now, her armor pads are attached onto her shoulders and permanently there, so you can fight with them a little. If you get especially pushed under the armor, that will allow them to go up closer to 90, and it has the butterfly joint back and forth and will rotate around. We get the single elbow joint that will bend to 90 with the rotation. No twist at the van braces for her, but the wrist will twist around and hinge up and down. Then we go to the ab crunch, so again, very similar, so it's kind of lower down, but the crunch is up higher, but we see it lower, so crunch back and forth, and she can actually twist all the way around. Then we go down to the hips, up to 90, and out to the side, thigh twist, that'll twist around. Of course, the armor gets in the way. The single knee joint that bends back to 90 with the rotation, and then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So again, the standard movements for Star Wars and matches the rest of the Mandalorian females we've got. Now for accessories, she comes with a jetpack, but this time it's the JT-12, which is just a little smaller version. Again, a lot of blue on it with some dark gray as well, so it looks pretty decent overall. Just a little smaller jetpack that just plugs right into her back there. And then she comes with the Westar 35 blaster as well. Again, you can put it into the holster, but we'll put it in her hand. So there we've got our Mandalorian Night Owl. And to go along with it, we of course have Bo-Katan, and then the other Mandalorian that I still can't remember the name of. I could probably name her any other time, but now I'm just drawing a blank. There's our Mandalorian, so again, she has very similarities between the other two. She has more of this helmet design compared to Bo's, but like I said, overall very similar, just combination between the two. So once again, another Mandalorian to add into the army. And next up we have R46DO, which is an R4 astromech droid that served the High Magistrate Grief Karga on Navarro. So again, looks pretty cool here with an R4 droid design. So they have like the tall cone heads, which is pretty cool. And one thing I like about this is the coloring. So it has a lot of the red and orange color, but overall it's going to be the same droid body we've seen, especially more recently with the larger size droid, so much like we had with R2D2 and R5. So it just looks pretty decent overall. Like I said, the only thing with this one that it just has more of that cone shaped head. But pretty nice designs, like I said, with the red and orange, so it makes it nice, bright and colorful against the white body. So overall, it looks pretty nice, but like I said, don't really have much to really go into besides the movements, but it'll be the same that we've seen before. Just really like the colors is all I can really say about it. So for those movements, the head will twist all the way around, so you can twist it all the way around. And of course, this has that secret compartment, so you can also pull the head up there to store the things down in. Then we get the body, which there are some parts on this, so we do get the little flaps on the front, which I can never remember how to open. There we go. So you can open both of those on each side, so those sort of spring out there. And then we do have the little sections on each side, but they didn't put the little tabs on them, so it's hard to open. But there we get the little pieces where there's slots in there. So you put 3 utility arms in each of those if you want as well. Then we can go over to the arms. So the arms do have movement, so they'll rotate all the way around there. And then down at the little feet or ankles do rock back and forth, so you can get them in different sort of sitting positions. And then we also get the third leg in the middle, which is again is always hard to get out, but you can just grab a hold of it and pull it all the way out, so it gives it the third leg. I love how it's got some orange printing on that as well. And then you can adjust the legs to get it to be sitting on all 3 there, so now it can sort of roll around like we see them do in the movie, which is always cool. And like all the other droids, he comes with multiple different arms. So first we get the grip arm, so just a little arm there with a little clamp on it. We get the multifunction utility and interface arm, so it can do that. Has a little grip design where it could go to the point and go into terminals and stuff. So we get that. We get the universal computer interface and can go into any computer system to control it. And then we also get the taser, so of course has little electric shocks that come out of it as well. And again, we can plug any of these into his body, so we can just open up one of the flaps and then just stick it in there. So whatever arms we want out, or we could stick all of these in at once, so he just has all of the arms out, but do something like that. But of course, I don't like the way it looks with that design, or like I said, we can store them all in there, so you can just take each little piece, sort of plug them into the slots there and store them down inside the body, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about losing them as much. But they are kind of hard to get in there in real small pieces, so you have to fiddle around with them. But overall, I think he looks nice. Like I said, it's just a droid, not a whole lot going on with it, but I really like the colors with the red and the orange. It just stands out a lot, so it'll look really nice on a shelf. And moving over to our droid pack, we have R5D4, which is an R5 astromech droid that was acquired by Pelimoto around 9 ABY and began working in her hangar bay and was sold to Din Djarin to assist with his exploration of Mandalore and was used to get an air sample of the ruins. So of course we've had R5 before, and this one looks pretty much exactly the same. Like, I don't really see any difference. I'll go ahead and bring the other one in. So there's that. So yeah, I don't really see any difference. It looks like, yeah, I was gonna say maybe the color's off. Like this one's a little more like yellowish to it or something, but they do almost look like exactly the same. Like, I can't really see much of any difference, but of course they're both the newer body designs, so the bigger bodies, so they should be, you know, relatively the same. I just thought maybe they dirty up one a little bit more, but no, they look almost exactly the same, so not really any difference. So I guess if you already have R5, you don't really need this one, but it still looks pretty nice and cool the way it is. So again, we saw it, of course, going all the way back to A New Hope, where it exploded at the Lars family home when it was being sold by the Jawas, and it has pretty similar body, especially like to R2D2 and the other astromechs, just has the different head design where it's got more of that like trapezoid shape to the head, got the three what I call little eye holes and stuff, the lines around the neck there as well, so just a little bit different shape with the antenna on top there as well. And it's got a red and blue design, always like that as well, so the body's all red, white, and blue, so really nice with that design. So that's always pretty cool. I always like R5, so just getting another one to add to the collection. But much like R460, it's going to have pretty much the same movement, so the head can twist all the way around and it lifts up to store all the tools inside there. The arms will twist all the way around with the ankle rockers. We get all the little doors that open, so the little doors on the side again that are hard to get open there, and then the little pieces up at the top as well, so there in the red will open, and then we get the third leg as well that'll come down there, so you can get that out to the front to get it in the sitting position. So nothing new for this R5 compared to the others. Now we do get some tools, so we have a lot of tools. Of course, we've seen some of these already. So there we get some multi-tools. So again, we have that tool. I didn't look up what all these different ones because they look all very similar. So probably just some interface tools going on there. And then we also get the taser and a needle. So a needle to inject stuff, which is pretty cool. So get those arms. Again, we can plug those in anywhere. But one thing new for this, and of course we could use it for any of our droids, but it came with this, is that we do get the rocket arms or little extension pieces that we can attach on. So we can take these, they kind of plug off there to the side, and then we can pop these on. So they've got the rocket boosters now on each of those, and it also comes with little fire effects that we can plug onto it. So their R5 now has the rocket booster, so it can be flying around like when they arrive on Mandalore. He's sort of flying around there, so that is pretty cool. So I like that. So just fun to get these extra little attachments that, like I said, we haven't got before, even like with R2 and stuff. So it's nice to have that. And like I said, we could even put those on R2 if we wanted to have him and with his rockets. So that is pretty cool, and that's probably, like I said, the coolest thing about this droid, since we've already had it and nothing really new besides those. So it's just fun additions to it as well. And then we get the other droids from the pack, so let's start with BD-72. So it's a BD unit droid that was owned by Pelimoto and works in Hangar 3-5 in Mos Eisley that aids in the building of Din Djarin's N1 starfighter. So just another little BD droid. We've had this before with BD from the Jedi Fallen Order game, so here is that BD. So BD-1 here compared to the BD-72. So it just looks nice, mostly all white, but it does have some blue designs on it as well. But just the same sort of design. Has some moves so the head can rock back and forth and twist around. That's got the little arm movements, or hips, whatever you want to call it, for its legs. The like knee joints are for it as well, all the way down to the little feet there. Of course, if it gets all bent up and stuff, it makes it harder to stand, but the arms do have like some movement in and out as well, so you can get it adjusted. And of course you can sort of like crouch down as well if you want it all short and squat down there with the antennas. Of course, one's all bent up there, but the antenna's off the back of the head as well. So just a cute little BD droid to go along with them. And then we get two pit droids, which we've had pit droids before, so we've had this one, so it's nice that they are all three different colors, which is pretty cool, because with them being the design like this, and of course I think if you look into the designs, these could be the pit droids going all the way back to episode 1 with the pod race, so it's kind of cool to get them in different designs. But these pit droids are DUM series pit droids that are cheap, expendable repair droids that can lift objects several times their weight and are used by Pelimoto in Hangar 3-5 to repair ships. So they look pretty cool. Of course, I like the different designs where this one's more tan with a little tiny bit darker tan around in areas, where this one's like a darker brown color with some white color sort of around in different areas. So they look pretty nice just with the pit droid body design that we have had before. So with these we do have different movements. So I love how we got the eye there, so the head can look up and down, and sort of a little twist side to side as well. Doesn't really rotate or anything, like can move just a little side to side, but doesn't really do much. There's nothing really to rotate. Then we go down to the neck that has a joint, so it can move back and forth there. So it can look down really far or up really far, which is nice. We go out to the shoulders that can lift up and down a little and rotate around. They have elbow joints as well, kind of like a double elbow joint with the design. And if you get both of those, the bending can pretty much bend all the way up on itself there. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around, of course, with their little hands on it. We do have ab crunch, so it'll crunch back and forth, which is nice. The hips will move, so the hips can come up, and of course you can sort of fold these up if you want as well, but it can come up really far back and forth with a little bit of in and out movement. They should have, yeah, like a thigh twist there just under the hip joint as well. The knee joint that can bend back and bend forward again to fold up, and all the way down to the foot that'll rock back and forth, and should have, yeah, a little twist side to side. But these are really hard to get to stand up, just like a lot of the other Star Wars droids, so not surprising, like General Grievous and all the others. So it is hard to get to stand up. You just have to fiddle around with it, get its feet and legs in different positions until you get them to stand. But it is nice to get all these droids added into the collection as well. Well, that's going to be it for our Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian wave we put together here with our Mandalorian Privateer, Mandalorian Night Owl, R46DO, R5D4, BD72, and our 2 pit droids. So pretty cool figures all around. Again, more just adding to the collection of the Mandalorian show with our different droids and 2 more Mandalorians to add to that army. So all of these are pretty cool. Of course, I have a lot of issues with like the droids, especially like the pit droids and stuff, getting them to stand. The Mandalorians are just fine, just getting boring because it's just the same things over and over again, just repaints for each one. And sort of similar with the droids, because the droids have pretty much all the same body designs, just different colors on them, and then different head shapes depending on which droid they are. So those get pretty boring as well, but they're all at least still cool figures to add to our collection. So let me know what you thought of these figures though down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.